President Obama is coming under fire tonight, even from some members of his own party, for his plans to send some Gitmo detainees back to Yemen, where the plan to blow up an American plane on Christmas Day was allegedly hatched. What we do know for sure is that Yemen is increasingly a training ground for al-Qaeda, and the movement there is already being led by former Gitmo prisoners released by the Bush administration. So despite that, more Gitmo prisoners may be sent back in the coming months. President Obama's senior advisor on counterterrorism defended that plan right here on CNN.
We are making sure that we don't do anything that's going to put American citizens, whether they be in Yemen or here in the States, at risk by our decisions about releasing.
So you have 90 prisoners remaining in Guantanamo that are from Yemen. Half of them were slated to be sent back home. There's word now that they're not going to be sent back home to Yemen. What are you going to do with them?
Many of them are going to be prosecuted, some under the Article 3 courts and some in military courts. Some of these individuals are going to be transferred back to Yemen at the right time, in the right pace, and in the right way.
And with me now is our senior legal analyst, Jeffrey Toobin, along with CNN national security contributor Fran Townsend, who served as President George W. Bush's Homeland Security advisor. Welcome to you both. And Fran, you just heard the president's top counterterrorism advisor there saying that they could still send some of the Guantanamo detainees back to Yemen. Is that what you would advise?
It's not, but I wouldn't advise it, certainly at this time. And I think when you listen closely to what John Brennan was saying, he says at the right time, in the right circumstances, he's put about every qualifier on it, because right now, what we know about President Saleh in Yemen is when they take terrorism suspects into custody, there were 24 who escaped from prison by digging a tunnel. Others he's released during Ramadan pardons. And so right now would not be a good time to be returning Gitmo detainees to Yemen. And I think the administration understands that.
And a lot of Democrats have expressed the same concern. Senator Dianne Feinstein told the Hill newspaper today Yemen's just too unstable to send any of the detainees back right now.
It's a really difficult problem because some of these people, there's not enough evidence to hold them. There is just not evidence that they committed a crime that you could charge them in an American criminal court or in a military tribunal. But how can you release them to Yemen at this point where Yemen is in this state of chaos? So the administration is stuck, so they're basically just not doing anything and keeping the people in Guantanamo.
Not doing anything for how long, though? I mean, walk us through legally, I guess, what their options are right now. Clearly, they're no good ones at the moment.
The option that they're taking now is delay. Originally, as we all know, the president had said he was going to close Guantanamo by his first anniversary in office. That ain't happening. But the problem is, some of these people you can prosecute. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, you can prosecute him in an American courtroom. That's what's happening. Some of these people, they are in countries where you can return them. We've sent some people to Albania. We've tried to send the less dangerous people to all sorts of different countries. But the problem is, what do you do with these people, even if you don't know what's going to happen, sending them to a country where there's essentially no government to protect them?
And the plan, Fran, that has been looked at and talked about is sending them to this prison in Illinois. It obviously hasn't been sorted out yet. Fairly politically unpopular, I think, in many ways. But given the options that Jeff just laid out, I mean, what else do you do?
Well, but Campbell, the problem there is, as Jeffrey noted, if you don't have sufficient evidence to try them in a civilian court, sending them to Illinois isn't a good option either. I mean, in some ways, delay right now until you can sort through this and the situation in Yemen is calmer, where you can have some assurances that you could rely on, is the only option. I mean, I really think Jeff's right. I mean, the administration doesn't have a lot of good options at the moment.
Because Illinois just becomes a Gitmo in Illinois,
right,
essentially.
It's Gitmo with snow. I mean, that's really what this prison is looking like, because you're going to have the same problem of what to do with these people who've been held year after year without charges. Yes, there is something symbolically important about closing Guantanamo, which has become such a toxic symbol around the world. But the whole issue of holding people without charges, that just moves onto American soil if you move them to Illinois. That's probably, I think, going to happen. But it doesn't deal ultimately with the problem of what to do with these people.
Well, let me quickly raise another issue. Go ahead, Fran.
Well, Jeff, wouldn't you say, I actually think it's a worse problem if you bring them to Illinois without charges, because now you have the constitutional right to habeas corpus, the ability for them to petition to be released if you don't charge them. And so I'm not sure that I don't think it's actually a worse option to move them to Illinois without charges.
Well, I think that's where we disagree, because I think they should have the right to go to court. You just can't hold people. Some of these people have been there for 7 years. If we can't figure out what to do with them after 7 years, then that's ultimately our problem, not their problem. I mean, they deserve a day in court.
All right, we got to end it there. Jeff Toobin, Fran Townsend, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.